100 people were asked if they knew who Bacchus and Anubis are. Build a Venn diagram that represents these people and label it. Well, let's start off by talking about who are Bacchus and Anubis. Well, Bacchus is the Roman name for the god that is named Dionysus in Greek mythology, and he is the god of vine, grape harvest, winemaking, wine, ritual madness, religious ecstasy, and theater. So he's a crazy kind of party god. Anubis is an Egyptian god, and he is the god of funerals and death, and he is known because of his jackal head and death. Essentially, he shows up whenever someone's dying. 15 people did not know either, 3 people knew both, 40 people knew who Bacchus was. We need a Venn diagram. And since some people knew both, I can make my circles overlapping. And I need to label one A for Anubis and one B for Bacchus. And then I also know that my universe, the cardinal number for it, is 100. So I know there were 100 people who were polled. Therefore, the cardinal number for my universe is 100. 15 people did not know either. That means they are outside of both the A set and the B set. So I'm going to put them out here in the universe, but not in either circle. And that takes care of this hint. 3 people knew both. So they knew Anubis and they knew Bacchus. That means those 3 people go in the intersection or the middle, the overlap part of those 2 sets. That takes care of this clue. 40 people knew who Bacchus was. Now, if they knew Bacchus, they could also know Anubis, but they definitely know Bacchus. So they belong in this B circle, and it could be anywhere in the B circle, including over here where we already know 3 people are, which means to find what belongs in B, we have to take the ones who knew Bacchus and subtract off the ones who also knew Anubis but knew Bacchus, and get 37 people who knew Bacchus but did not know Anubis. And the last thing I need to do is figure out how many people are here knowing Anubis but not knowing Bacchus at all. And if I want to find that, I have to use the information that I have about all of the cardinal numbers and write out that I have 100 people for my universe. Subtract off the 3 plus 37, that'll be 40. And subtract off the 15 who didn't know anybody. 15 and 40 is 55, so that's going to leave me 45 people who belong in the set A, but not also knowing Bacchus. So this makes my Venn diagram complete. Now I can answer some questions. Down here we're asking for a verbal description of the set operation to give you this verbal description and or the cardinal number, which is the frequency. So I'm just going to write up here the cardinal number. Knew of Anubis. So Anubis is the A circle, and anybody inside the A circle knew of Anubis. If they're here in this intersection, it means they knew Anubis. They also knew Bacchus, but they knew Anubis. So these 2 quantities together knew of Anubis. So we need to add those together. So we have 45 plus 3, or a cardinal number of 48 for people who knew of Anubis. The set operation is just going to be A because they belong to the set A. The next description is knew of Bacchus or Anubis or both. Now, if they knew Bacchus, they would be here. If they knew Anubis, they would be here. Or both is saying we need to include this part in the middle. And so we're thinking about all of this region here is knew of Bacchus or Anubis or both. And that really sounds to me like the union. Oops. The union of two sets, because we're taking everything from both sets, including the part they have in common. And when I look at those two sets, remember the 37 plus the 3 gave us 40 total for the B set, and then I have 45 more that are in A but not in B at all. And so 40 plus the 45, so I'm going to write all those out. So I have 40 plus 45, which gives me 85 for the cardinal number of people who knew Bacchus or Anubis or both. The other thing you'll see a lot with union is this or. Or is telling you that we need to do a union. And the next row is saying B union A. It's the same thing as A union B. The order does not make any difference on a union or an intersection, just so you know. So A union B, looking back up here, we know what that is. It's this region right here. But we have something else, this little tick mark, which means the complement. So when I come up to A union B, this is the A union B, but then I want everything that's not in the region that I'm showing here. So not in this region, which means we're talking about those 15 who didn't know Anubis and did not know Bacchus. So we'll put 15 here for the cardinal number. And then over here, they didn't know either one. So knew neither Bacchus nor Anubis. The last row is just giving us a cardinal number of 3. So I'm going to look on my Venn diagram for the number 3. And I see it here in the middle. And then I have to figure out what set notation will describe just this area in the middle that came to a cardinal number of 3. And I know we've talked about it. That's the intersection. So the intersection of the two sets A and B will be this piece in the middle. To show that, I can write A intersect B. And then to describe that, it needs to be in the words of the problem, which was Bacchus and Anubis. So this part here in the middle, it's also right here. 3 people knew both. So I can beef that up just a little bit and say 3 people, or those who knew both Bacchus and Anubis. And remember that keyword and goes along with the intersection. The keyword or goes along with the union.